Oh, hey, we're live. Hey, Stephen Sashen from XeroShoes.com. Here's the shirt to prove it. And this is our monthly Ask Me Anything, where you can ask me anything. And the way you do that, wait, I'm going to put on chat over there. There we go. The way you do that is you can type in your questions or comments below. I will see them right there on my screen. So when I'm looking over there, that's why I'm responding to what you're saying. And we're going to talk about whatever you want to talk about. The whole idea behind barefoot or minimalist footwear, how to transition safely and enjoyably into minimalist or barefoot footwear, how to do the exact opposite, what you can or can't do in those products, where to find them, how to tell the difference between a real barefoot shoe and a fake barefoot shoe, and much, much more, whatever you want to talk about. But for those of you who are new, who aren't hip to what we're doing at all, let me give you the world's fastest little intro. Because really what we're talking about is not footwear. It's about optimal human functioning. What does that mean? I'll tell you. So you may not know this, but your feet have a quarter of the bones and joints of your entire body in them. And that's for balance, agility, mobility. They're supposed to bend and flex and move. And if you don't let them do that, if you have a shoe that doesn't let that happen, then that function tries unsuccessfully to move up into your ankle, your knee, your hip, and your back and cause problems in all of those places because they're not designed for that function. Similarly, you have a quarter of the, no, wait, you have more nerve endings in the soles of your feet than anywhere but your fingertips and your lips. That's so your brain knows what you're stepping on or in and can help you move efficiently, effectively, and enjoyably, starting by sending messages down to those feet and how they're supposed to move. So we're here to help your feet do their job so the rest of your body can do its job. And the way we do that, I'm going to use a shoe that I wear on a regular basis, is a couple things. First of all, do you think it's better to be restricted or have some freedom? If you're answering freedom, well, we make shoes with a wider foot-shaped toe box so your toes aren't squeezed together. When you squeeze your toes together, you can't even use that arch in your foot, which is all about strength. So wider foot-shaped toe box, low to the ground for balance and agility. The higher you get off the ground, the tippier you become. We don't elevate your heel with a wedge of foam or something because that tips your center of mass forward a little. It kind of makes you lean forward a tiny bit. Then you have to adjust with your ankles, your knees, your hips, or your back. And that's not good. We make our shoes super, super flexible, all those bones and joints, so they can move. Of course, they never do this, but you get the idea. And some people look at this and go, hey, that's perfect for travel, which it is, but frankly, that's even better. Which brings us to the sole of the shoe. We made it so it gives you grip and traction, of course, but it also gives you that ground feedback that your brain needs to help you move effectively, efficiently, and enjoyably. And it's backed with a 5,000-mile sole warranty. We made our shoes to be durable, to keep them out of landfills, to last longer, which is better for the environment. By the way, you can have more or less barefoot feeling if you want. You can remove the included 2 to 3 millimeter insole or sock liner for more barefoot feel, or keep it in if you feel like you need a little extra protection. And last but not least, Xero shoes are so lightweight. We've literally had people say they went to bed still wearing them because they forgot they had them on. And we make over 55 different styles of casual and performance shoes, boots, and sandals for pretty much everything that anyone could do. Taking a walk, running a marathon, strolling on down the beach, hanging out with friends. We have professional athletes and Olympic athletes. If you watch the Denver Nuggets game, just in the last 2 games of the series, you will have seen the shooting guard Justin Holiday in a basketball shoe that we made just for him. So that's what we're all about. And now I'm going to respond. Peter Cunningham says, when my quote be bringing back closed-toed sandals, like, when, I'm going to guess that you meant when might we be bringing back a closed-toe sandal like the Colorado? It's on our to-do list, and it's not going to happen this season. I don't believe it. Definitely not happening this season. I'm not sure if we're bringing them out before things get cool again, or if we have to wait till next season. I don't store the when things are happening in my brain any longer because that is way too much information in my little brain. Gabe, I resolved the issue of real barefoot shoes by defaulting to Xero shoes. I own a dozen pairs so far. Thank you, Gabe. And by the way, if we want to have a contest for who owns the most, put in, you or your family combined, and we'll see what we get. Almost half of our orders, 49%, come from people who've already purchased a pair of Xero shoes or more, and they just want to get more for themselves and for their family. Peter, have I ever worn barefoot socks, like socks, but with a little bit of protection on the bottom? So yes, there are a couple product companies that are making those. And the biggest problem that I found is that they aren't wide enough for my toes. We literally just yesterday talked with a company that makes socks that actually let your toes spread and feel great. And we're getting some more samples made to see if it's something we're going to be able to carry or license or both. But I was super excited because I've tried a lot of different barefoot socks that didn't work. And the other thing with some of those products you're talking about that didn't work for me is simply they were great for walking around, but not the kind of activities that I do. They might be good in the gym. I didn't try them there, but for me, the number of times that I break into a sprint is pretty high, and they just came off my foot. So there's that. All righty. What else can I talk about? Things that are going on, things that are interesting, things that are exciting. We haven't announced this publicly, but it is an actual thing. So we're happy to say that Lifetime Fitness reached out to us about being their official Barefoot minimalist footwear product. And we're thrilled to be working with them. We're just getting that ball rolling. So stay tuned for more. But if you're a member of Lifetime, you'll be hearing about this. Nicholas, struggling with rocky trail runs, bruised ball of my foot. Any advice? Yeah, don't do that. So there are a couple things. There's literally nothing that can protect you from everything all the time. I wish there were. Even a big honking amount of foam, if you step on the right thing in the wrong way, that can happen as well. So the simplest thing I can say is that over time, as you're spending more, and now a couple things actually, we have different products with different amount of protection and different amount of tread. So depending on what you wore, that might be something. But the biggest thing that I've noticed when I'm on trails is over time, I just got better at paying attention to where my feet go. And if I'm getting my feet underneath me more, it's easier for me to get my foot off of something that is pokey than if I'm overstriding and just like putting all my weight on that foot before I've gotten any feedback about whether that's safe. And so it's also, you mentioned a shoe or a foot. So I'm assuming that it was on one foot and not the other, which indicates that a good sign because unilateral problems mean there's unilateral solutions. So it may be, I can't tell without watching how you run on a trail or walk on a trail, that you have a form issue that's happening on one side and not the other. For people who don't know, and I'm assuming it's most of you, that's kind of how I got into this business at all, is as a sprinter. I'm a competitive sprinter. I'm a Masters All-American sprinter. And the way that happened is 17 years ago, I got back into sprinting after a 30-year break and was getting injured pretty much constantly. And someone suggested after 2 years of nonstop injuries that I try running barefoot to see what I would learn. And what I learned is that I have a form problem that I couldn't feel in a big, thick shoe. And even more, it was only affecting my left foot. In other words, at the end of my first barefoot run, I ended up with a blister on the ball of my left foot, but my right foot was fine. And most people, when they get a blister somewhere, go, oh, see, this is nonsense. I got a blister. But I had the whatever brain dysfunction that allowed me to go, what's happening with the good foot that isn't happening with the bad foot? And on my next barefoot run, a week later, when I still had a gaping hole in the ball of that foot, I thought, if I can find a way to run that doesn't hurt the gaping hole on my foot, then I'm probably not doing the thing that caused the gaping hole in my foot. And after 9 minutes and 30 seconds, and I remember it exactly, I went from a lot of pain because I hadn't figured it out to instantly figuring it out. And it wasn't cognitive. It's just my brain, by paying attention to the good side, figured out how to get the bad side to do the same thing. And my stride got faster, easier, lighter, more effortless. And that's when my injuries went away and I became faster and became a Masters All-American, which I've been for the last 15 years. So anyway, there's that. Paula Burns, Xero socks. Yes, please. I hate most socks in general because they're just too tight. Yep. Or they're loose enough, they just slide off my ankles. My experience exactly. And to let you know, the sock that we tested was great, but a little too thick. And so it just muted the sensation too much and actually made it harder to fit into a shoe because it just took up all that extra volume. So they're making a new version for us, thinner, because you want something, if you want something to absorb moisture, that's great. And these are made of Japanese wool and some synthetic to, give an extra stretch. They're incredible. But so you want something as thin as you can get away with, so you're not getting rid of that ground feedback and not filling up a shoe if you don't need to do that. Peter says, also, thank you for sending me out a pair of new Prios as my old pair. The side strap broke and the bottoms were way too worn down for only having them for less than a year. So we back our shoes with 2 warranties, our 5,000 miles sole warranty and our 24-month manufacturer's warranty. Manufacturing is never perfect, and especially not for footwear. Long story, there's humans involved. Whenever there's humans, and even often when there's not humans, things are not perfect, and that's why we have our 24-month manufacturer's warranty. So always happy to help. Joni or Johnny, any magical ideas to avoid smells while using shoes without socks? No, because it's really well, it's a combination of a lot of things. The simplest thing is when you get out of your shoes, take the sock liner out, let them dry out. There are a number of products that I've tested that claim to be antimicrobial, antibacterial, anti-smell, anti-whatever, and I've never found one that worked. So the simplest thing that I've heard is like a really thin merino wool sock. What I do with mine is I just let them air out, and things are washable. So if you're going to wash something, cold water by hand is best. If you're going to do something other than that, which is off-label, put your shoes in a bag, like a mesh bag, put them in with a lot of other stuff, cold water, gentle, let them air dry, and see how that helps. Let's see. Apollo Burns could possibly work with Grip 6, a wool sock company in Utah that makes local Utah wool socks. Only if here's the other problem with socks. I'll let you in behind the scenes, which is what I do on these calls. The expense on making anything comes from the setup. Once everything is set up and ready to go, then things just keep going, and the more the merrier in terms of how many you make. And therefore, most manufacturing companies have an MOQ, minimum order quantity, or minimum order quotient quantity. And the problem with socks is because it takes so much time to get the machines set up, they need to make a lot to make it worth their effort. And so we've had some problems finding companies that can do minimums that are minimum enough for what we need to test the waters and see how people respond to the product. We can't buy 10,000 pairs without having any idea of how people are going to respond to them. So, but feel free to pass on that info from Grip 6, or I'll look them up when I can get off of this and see what they're doing. But again, the biggest problem is having somebody make something that's wide enough for people's toes to not get squeezed together. Eric, hey, I've been wearing Xero shoes for 2 years and I feel good walking with them. However, standing still on my standing desk gets uncomfortable fast. Should I get a mat, or is there a better solution? Frankly, I'm surprised to hear that, because we have so many people who say that when they're on their feet all day for the first time, they're actually feeling great at the end of the day. So this is a weird thing. I don't know what your standing form looks like. And what I mean by that is if you're literally just planting your feet in place and not moving around much, that could be problematic in some cases. Those mats, all they're doing is giving you instability, and the idea is that makes you use your feet. But actually, if you're in a big, thick shoe, it doesn't make you use your feet. It makes you use your ankles, which causes some problems. And so, it's your heels that hurt. So, okay. So my suspicion, and this is just a guess because I haven't seen you personally, is that it's your calves working too much. Your calves are being tight. So here's the weird recommendation I'm going to make. If you have a foam roller or any sort of massage thing, or a human being who can rub the crap out of your calves, and you see if there's any tightness there, see if that helps. And then if your standing desk allows you to go up and down like mine does, don't do so much all at one time. So, do an hour, see how you feel, rub out your calves, or, you massage your calves, see what that does. And then kind of go back and forth that way, because what I've seen more often than not for heel pain is that it's tight calves pulling on the plantar fascia from the proximal end. So see what happens on the calf side of things, and play with that, and play with moving a little bit more too. Like I did a really, really crazy heavy track workout on Sunday, which I haven't done in a while because the weather on the weekends has been crap around here. And then I had shoulder surgery last year at the end of track season, and I wasn't able to do any training during the indoor season. And then I had a heavy, heavy leg workout yesterday, and I had some soreness on my heels when I woke up, and it was mostly on the sides, not the back, but within 20 minutes of walking and just like getting some motion and getting some flexibility in there, gone for the rest of the day. So those are my only thoughts. But again, not a doctor. I don't play one on TV or the internet, but that's some things to play with. Matt, getting over plantar fasciitis, chased super shoes and paid the price. Building the feet back up with Xeros, and it's working. For hours of discomfort, you would put in inserts, for hours of discomfort, you would put in inserts or just focus on rest. Um, it's really funny you say that. So I was talking to some people like a half an hour ago, literally half an hour ago. And then I had to rush home to get here because I didn't have my computer at the office. We were talking about the fact that inserts and rest are fine, but the question is, what are you recovering from? Why do you need recovery? And the joke is that the proof that shoes are problematic, normal shoes are problematic, is the multi-billion-dollar industry for all those things to deal with the shoes, gels and insert and all those various things, including just the advice to just rest. Because backing up to the gels and inserts and orthotics and all the rest, the shoe companies could sell those themselves, but they don't. In fact, they know what the technology is. They could just build that into the shoes, but they don't. And the question is, why? And the answer is because the shoe companies know those things aren't the solution either. The solution is typically pretty simple for most situations, which is let your feet do what they're made to do: bend, flex, move, feel, be strong rather than weak, for example. So, but to your point about the super shoes, Dr. Jay DeSherry, he's the first one to tell you that those shoes are causing more injuries than we've ever seen before because they're altering your biomechanics in ways that are non-ideal. And because the foam in those things breaks down so quickly, it alters them yet again as you continue to wear them. So they may make some people faster. I don't know if you've seen on like TikTok or Instagram Reels or YouTube Shorts or whatever the hell those things are called. It's a thing that they refer to as two cameras, one light. And so it's, the same person talking to themselves, but, in a different outfit. So it's like two people talking. And I want to do one where it's a guy saying, "Hey, you're a footwear expert. I'm going to run a marathon next month. And which of those super shoes should I get? Are you a 105-pound Kenyan planning on running that race in about 2 hours and 30 minutes or less?" No. Well, that's who those shoes are made for, because the foam in those shoes is basically tuned to a weight and speed. And if you're not that weight running at that speed, they're going to get in the way of proper biomechanics and could really mess you up. Oh, so FYI, do with that what you will. Peter again, wearing gel inserts in your shoes fixes the problem, but ultimately makes it worse in the long run. So it's not that it fixes the problem, but it can do something that can alleviate the immediate thing without addressing the cause. So like arch support can feel really good. Why does it feel really good? The same way that lying down on a couch or on one of those zero gravity chairs feels good. You're not using your muscles, ligaments, and tendons. Everything is relaxing. That can make things feel good. But the longer you stay like that, the more you get weak. You put your arm in a cast, not using your arm can feel okay. Feels awkward, of course. But the problem is it gets weaker over time. And you're going to eventually have to, when the cast comes off, do something to make your arm work again, called exercise and physical therapy. And it's the same thing with using your feet. If you haven't been using them for a while, there's research that shows, this from Katrina Protopappas and others, if you put arch support in the shoes of healthy individuals who haven't been wearing that, they can lose up to 17% of the strength and muscle mass in their feet in under 12 weeks. That is mind-blowing. 12 weeks, and you can lose up to 70% of the muscle mass and strength in your foot. Now, it doesn't keep going down to zero, of course, because you're using a little bit. No matter what you do, you're using your feet. In fact, when you're in a shoe with a bunch of arch support and a bunch of cushioning and all those things, your feet are trying to bend and flex and move, but they're being resisted by the shoe. And so it's kind of like doing isometric stuff in a way that's problematic. You're putting too much strain when the muscles, ligaments, and tendons are overstretched. Anyway, when will the Justin Holiday basketball shoe be available to the public? There was a meeting about that today that I was not able to be in, so I don't know the answer. We are working on that problem because we got a lot of feedback from people, which we expected after Justin played in that shoe. And so I don't know. Stay tuned is the best thing I can say. Go to xeroshoes.com/basketball, and there's going to be a place to opt in, and just make sure you're opted in there. And that way you will hear about when our basketball shoe becomes available to non-NBA and WNBA players. We have a WNBA player who in many ways is one of the reasons that we made this shoe. She contacted us years ago and said, "I've been wearing your shoes and sandals off the court, and my feet and ankles will become indestructible. You need to make a basketball shoe. It just so happened we made a very rudimentary basketball shoe, kind of like an old Chuck Taylor. And we sent that to her. And this is just her line. She said, they don't quite fit me, so I can't play in them. But I can tell you, I couldn't sprain my ankle in these things if you paid me to. And that was really the inspiration for making this product. And people, I will also tell you this, people mocked me for years when I said we're going to get shoes on NBA players and WNBA players. They thought I was completely delusional, totally full of it, serious case of cranial rectal reorientation syndrome. And the moment we had an NBA player wearing our shoes, they just changed their tune and never said thanks. So this is one we've been working on. And again, we weren't planning on even talking about this for like another 6 months. And then Justin said, he was testing out a shoe and said, I love it. I'm going to play in it. We're like, oh, geez. So away we went. All right, let's see. Dan says, can I expect to recover 17% of foot strength and flexibility over 12 weeks through engagement of my feet? I can't answer that because I have not examined your feet. And it's different if it's one thing to put your arm in a cast and then take it out of a cast 8 weeks, 12 weeks later, version of not using your feet. Because one of the things that happens is not just muscular, it's neurological. So if you're basically not giving your brain the information that it's looking for from all those mechanoreceptors in your feet and all the motion that you get in your feet and ankles, your brain literally changes its shape. It de-differentiates. There's a book called The Brain That Changes Itself. And Dr. Mike Merzenich talks about this exact thing, that over time, by not using your feet, your brain goes, oh, you're not going to give me the info? That's cool. I'm not going to waste the effort waiting for it. And it'll change its shape. Now, if you start giving yourself feedback, can change again. But I don't know how neuroplastic you are. So I can't answer the question if you just went from an acute not using your feet back to using them versus a long-term chronic not using your feet back to using them. So, but the bottom line is this. Let's imagine that it takes you 6 months to build up strength and flexibility and mobility in your feet that can last for a lifetime. Is that worth it? I vote yes. And especially if it doesn't take a whole lot other than like walking and maybe doing a little jogging or a little running if you want to, or maybe doing some foot exercises if you want to. The research shows that an 8-week foot exercise, a foot exercise program done over 8 weeks compared to just walking in a minimalist shoe built the same amount of strength in all but like one muscle in the foot. And now I will tell you, the lead researcher of that study said you should get the same benefits from wearing Xero shoes as the shoe they used in that study. When they did the study, I'm not even sure we were making casual shoes or performance shoes. So do with that what you will. The simple answer is, I don't know, but what's the downside for trying to build up strength and seeing how long it takes? It's like when people call me and said, I'm going to run a marathon next week and I want to wonder which of your shoes to wear. And my answer is none. You don't want to just change so close to an event where you haven't acclimated and gotten used to wearing the shoe. And they go, well, how long is that going to take? I don't know. Depends on you. And I know humans hate individual idiosyncratic answers to problems they want to solve, while at the same time we think we're all special. It's a bit of a conundrum there. Okay, let's see. Michael, just saw that you were doing this. Would love to see a barefoot Birkenstock alternative with a removable heel strap so we can still treat them as slides. I designed a slide that was amazing for 50% of the people wearing it. And the other 50%, they would slide out of it. So it's a project that is on our list. It's basically something hands-free. And we have a couple other solutions that we're playing with, but I don't have an answer for when those are even going to be available for testing, because it's tricky. What makes a slide work, and even with Birkenstocks, and we're dear friends with the CEO, is having that arch support in there and those little ridges that your toes go on, because that's what keeps you from falling out. Is basically trapping your first metatarsal head. So that space between that first bony thing, this bony part of your foot and your arch, having something that traps it right here, that's what keeps them on your foot. So working on it. Will it be the Jordans of Xero shoes, the basketball shoe? It should be. If you watch Air, the fictionalized version of the story of making that shoe for Michael Johnson, you know who I meant, Michael Jordan. Michael Johnson's a runner, sprinter. When they hand Michael the shoe, They say to him, we know you like to be something like this. They say, we know you like to be closer to the ground. We can make that happen. So that original shoe was minimalist-ish, still too pointy, still heavier than it needed to be, still with more stuff around the ankle than it needed to have. But a lot of players back then were hip to the idea of letting their feet work naturally. Let's see what else. Paulo, I wear the Xero Shoes 360 for basketball. I don't like a bunch of ankle support on basketball shoes. I've built my ankle strength, so I don't need ankle support to not roll my ankles. So we're going to be making a low top and a mid top, because there's some people who like the ankle thing. It's just a psychological thing. They like the feeling of that. And so more power to you. Kobe made a video years ago where he talked about what he thought the perfect basketball shoe should be. And he described exactly what we do. And in fact, including the 360. And what Nike then made was just a low top version of the same stuff they were already making. So yeah, we'll see. Joey asks again, when do we expect to see the basketball shoes? Don't know yet. We're figuring that out. Literally had a meeting today to figure that out. Nick, Stephen, hello, Nick. I love the HFS2 and the Xero shoes. I have a question. I'm a truck insurance agency owner. What do you think of breaking the traditional attire and wearing jeans and a polo shirt or t-shirt versus suits? Dude, I don't even own a suit. I live in Colorado. It's amazing that I have anything that I wear on my upper body that isn't fleece. So I'm a huge fan of breaking out of that. Now, that said, we have like our Glen, which is a leather shoe that can look good with, if you wear an all black shoe, most people don't notice what you're wearing if you're wearing a suit. We've even had people wearing all black versions of like the Speed Force and other shoes, and no one noticed. So I'm a huge fan. You know what? We're trying to find the time and resources to do a campaign for women in particular that I'm trying to find a better name than Pretty Shouldn't Be Painful. That's all about breaking out of this idea that you should wear shoes that are bad for your feet just because that's what you're supposed to do. And so I think it's the same thing for getting rid of, jeans, and the same thing of breaking out of traditional attire and breaking out of wearing shoes that are messing you up just because that's what you're supposed to wear. Dan says cooling is a thumbs up, but I have no idea why, because once I answer a question, it has flown out of my brain. But okay, I'll take a thumbs up. Nick, I think I got hammer toe by wearing tight shoes growing up. Xero shoes are very good and solve this problem. Give your toes space. All the shoe companies should be doing this. Agreed. This is going to sound weird. We're trying to change the world, not be the biggest shoe company in the world. If all the other companies finally get the hint and realize making something wider and foot shaped, and there'll be companies who make things that are foot shaped but a little narrower, foot shaped but wider, foot shaped but even wider. Awesome. We're just trying to give people shoes that are good for feet and good for humans and good for everything between their feet and the rest of their humans. Whatever that means. You get the idea. And if every company starts doing this, then we won. And we did the thing that we set out to do. So actually, we never set out to do that. That's just what's happening. Let's see. Eric says, did Justin Halliday have experience with minimalist shoes, or did he have to get used to it? A little bit of both. When he was in high school, if I'm remembering correctly, his coach was totally hip to the whole barefoot idea. And I know that Justin was hip to it as well, but I don't know what he was wearing before we met him some number of months ago. So he has really narrow feet, but with, good toe spread, but he's a tall, narrow guy. And so he kind of came to the party pretty well equipped. What our recommendation is for people who aren't, and including professional basketball players, and we've seen this during the last finals. Actually, we saw this. On Twitter, there was a little video of Jimmy Butler coming into the Denver arena in our Glen, which we were told he was wearing off the court in the gym for shoot around to warm up, and it's not for playing. So this is what we say to basketball players. Start wearing our shoes casually. Wear our shoes in the gym. When you're ready, wear them when you're just warming up and doing a shoot around and not running up and down the court. Do some foot strengthening exercises. If you need to work on mobility, just do those things slowly until you feel ready to do a little bit on the court. 5 minutes tops in a game. See how you feel and just build up slowly. It's the same advice we give for people running. Start slow and small and build up based on how you feel. Don't push too hard. Don't try to, do too much too soon is the gist of it. So anyway, that was that. Oh, yeah. Got a bunch of questions come in. All right, getting down to Apollo. Would you be able to say if you're going to come out with a men's rubber rain boot? maybe with a steel toe. Let's start on the rubber rain boot. Go to, like it says, hey, I made Eric's question a question. I didn't even mean to do that. Hold on. How do I undo that? Did that do it? No, that's not what I want. Wait, I got to go to captions and go back to captions. There we go. That was a fun accident. Now let's go back to the questions. Okay, so so rubber rain boot, like it says in very tiny print down there, go to xeroshoes.com/feedback and say you want the Gracie for men. I've been pushing for this, but I don't know what the status is of that at the moment. In the meantime, we have a bunch of waterproof boots that you might find useful. Matt, by coincidence, my cubicle neighbor has been wearing the Glens, and they definitely look good in the office. I wear the Nexus Knit, another good option. So there you go. You also asked Paula Burns for steel toe. Number one request we get is for a protective toe boot. And again, it's something we're working on. And now that basketball is kind of out of the bag, I've got to be honest, that's taking a little priority because frankly, the impact of that can be much bigger than the impact of a steel toe boot for the people who need that. Not that we're ignoring people who need that, and composite more likely than steel. But we're not a huge company and we have limited resources, so we have to pick our battles very carefully. Let's see, Brandon, make a combat boot for regs in the military. Here's the problem with that. So if it's going to be standard issue, it has to be 100% made in America, which makes it crazy expensive to the point of not even being possible for a number of reasons. If it's something that's going to be just a tactical or combat looking boot, that's something that's also on our list. If it's going to be something that you could buy in the PX that's not standard issue, that's a whole other conversation there too. And there's been a lot of pushback in the military. I'm going to say, I'm hypothesizing that it could be because there's some other shoe companies that don't make barefoot friendly minimalist shoes that don't want us in there because they know the value of what we do. Because they know the value of what we do, just they kind of own the military right now. So there's some, let's call it political stuff in the way of that, but working on it. Nick, again, I'm so happy with Xero Shoes. I have 2 pairs of the HFS2 and wear them for almost everything and every day. I highly recommend Xero Shoes. Thank you so much. Vid, oh man, can I comment on hyper arch fascia training by Coach Chung-Chi? Have I used the Mobo stability training device by Jada Sherry? So Coach Chung and I are friendly and I love what he's doing. In fact, he referred people to us because he took a look at a video of my feet and said that I have the right strong kind of feet. So I'm a big fan of what he's doing. And I have used Jay's Mobo board. Jay is a good friend, and the Mobo board, MOBO board. And if you just go to moboboard.com, you'll find it, is an excellent strength training tool for your feet. So that is my comment on both of those. Big fan of both. Kathy Boots, I decided to try the Prio to help with foot pain. Tight shoes were causing pain on the top of my feet. I needed to leave my laces a little looser. I wear my Prios all day at work, and then for 3 to 4 mile walk, I'm on my feet normally 12 hours a day. First of all, love it. Thumbs up, and thankfully I'm not using that thing where my computer recognizes a thumbs up and makes balloons and crap like that, which makes me insane. I wear my shoes pretty loosely laced as well, not because I had any foot pain, but I don't wear shoes in the house. And so I just like them where I can just kind of slip in, barely need my pinky to get them over my heel, and away I go. Now, when I'm racing, I tighten them up. But otherwise, I'm doing the same thing. And then I do my 3 miles a day with my doggy who's asleep over there. And then I have a standing desk. So same, you and I are living very similar lives. Thank you for the feedback that other people can hopefully use. Monica, yes, pretty shoes shouldn't be painful. Can't wait for more Xero shoes. Thank you. Leandro, how does Xero shoes work for plantar fasciitis? How could I try them? You try them by buying a pair or go to our store locator. Go to xeroshoes.com or xeroshoes.eu or xeroshoes.co.uk and look for the store locator link in the upper right and see if there's a store near you. Now, I'll warn you, call the store first because most of the stores that we're in keep selling out before they get stuff back in, and they don't carry our entire line, obviously. So make sure that there's someone who's got something if you want to try them on before you buy them. And to find the right shoe or recommendation for a good shoe for you, if you go to our site and use our shoe finder quiz, and there's links to it all over the place, then that can be helpful. Now, we're not a medical device. I can't make any promises about anything. What I can tell you is, I'm going to put a response to your, how do I do this? I'm going to put a response to your thing, which is, let's see if I get this right. I did. So I just put in a couple of links that hopefully will be helpful with some info about plantar fasciitis. And that, by the way, more often than not, it is, wait, I've got a lot of comments. More often than not, it's actually not plantar fasciitis. If it's been there for a while, it's plantar fasciosis. The tendons have degraded a little. And more often than that, even, it's tight calves that make it seem like plantar fasciitis, and it's not. So I mentioned this earlier in the call. Do a whole bunch of deep massage work and see if that makes you feel any better. If it does, then you're kind of onto it. I will tell you, there's some research that's being finished very soon about Xero shoes for plantar fasciitis. And I don't know what it's going to say. I don't know what they're going to recommend. I do know that I talked to the person who's leading that research who said, oh, you're going to like what it seems to be showing. That's all I know. And as soon as that research is out, you're going to be hearing about it from me. So there's that. Edgar, I purchased the Z-Trail about 3 weeks ago. My feet and legs feel great. What Xero shoes would you suggest for cross-training and casual? For cross-training, either the Forza Trainer or the 360. Those are the two that we designed specifically for that. But people use the Prio and the Prio Neo for that as well. Casual, the Dylan, the Glen, the just came up, the Nexus Knit. What else? The Ridgeway, especially the Ridgeway Low, is a great casual shoe if you want an outdoorsy look. What I would recommend is go to xeroshoes.com/shop and just scroll through and take a look and see what you look at that makes you go, ooh, that would look good casually. So, but those are the ones I suggest off the top of my brain. Ricky, along with the barefoot movement, do you think that toe spacers and or rock mats are beneficial? Yes. So is the short answer. So toe spacers, one of the exercises that people who are doing foot strengthening exercises do is they have people not only squeeze their toes, but try and spread them apart as far as you can. And some people like can't even do that because they haven't been using those muscles and ligaments and tendons. So the brain is not wired any longer to make that natural motion. So using toe spacers can help you kind of wake things up a little bit and remind your brain, oh yeah, there's a thing there that I can do. And it can be helpful there. I know I haven't worn them personally. I know a lot of people who swear by them. So I'm a fan of the people who have developed these. And so I think those are great. The rock mats or our rocks mat, ROX, is a good thing for just, some foot massage, little kind of reflexology thing. I'm not saying reflexology is a thing. I don't have opinions about that either way, but I don't want to make it sound like, you get the idea. Anyway, can be good. And also there's little, knobby things you can grip on and do some toe strengthening. The shower in our primary bathroom, because you're not allowed to say master bathroom anymore, is, although I just said it, it's pebbles. It's just pebble tiles. And it's my favorite thing to step on every morning that I get in the shower, which admittedly is not every morning. TMI? Probably. Oh, well. All right, let's keep going. Oh, my gosh. Brandon, I can buy any boots and wear them in uniform as long as they have the right look. They don't have to be made in the U.S. For me to wear them, at least in the Air Force. I know many other people who want barefoot wide toe boots that are in regs. Do me a favor and go to xeroshoes.com/feedback and basically just type in what you just typed and point to any examples, like links to any pictures or people selling something that's a similar product to what you're talking about. And that'll help our product team know what to do next. They may have something in the works that fits the bill and maybe not. I'm not sure, but that's the best way to get it to them and get that on our radar, if not further down the pike than just being on radar. Edgar, will we have a Father's Day sale promo? No. I know that sounds horrible and rude, but I can tell you this. Compared to other minimalist companies, our products, are already typically less expensive other than the really cheap ones that are on Amazon that don't last as long. This is my favorite thing. I bought this one on Amazon. It was only $40. It only lasted a month, but it was only $40. Like, dude, you could have spent $80 and got something that has a 5,000-mile sole warranty. Live and learn. Boy, how to describe this? We do very few sale events because we believe in what we're doing and we believe in the value of what we're doing. Lena and I, that's my wife and co-founder, one of our principles is make things that are affordable and make them as long lasting as you can, and back them up with our 5,000 mile sole warranty and our 24-month manufacturer's warranty, because we want to stand behind what we do. So when we launch new products in the spring, we do those at a discount because we want to get them out in the world quickly. When we launch new products in the fall, we do the same thing. And like many people, we do some things around the end of the year because we have some products that we maybe are upgrading and want to move the previous version out, or because we've run out of warehouse space or various other reasons. I think Black Friday now, what used to be the day after Thanksgiving, I think Black Friday now starts on July 4th. Not for us, but you get the joke. So anyway, that's what's going on. Please add one more set of eyelets on the Nexus knit so we can secure to the ankle. Rodney, again, if you can go to xeroshoes.com/feedback and leave that suggestion, that would be a great thing. In the meantime, there may be a way that you can do it on your own. Don't hold me to this. No promises. I'm making this crap up as I go, but I've seen people do similar things. If you go to a craft store, you might find a grommet, not a rivet, a grommet that is the right size and shape, where you could grommetize the shoe yourself and make that happen. Something to ponder. You didn't hear it from me. I can't be responsible for what happens if you give it a whirl. So, but it's what popped into my mind. If I was going to try that, that's what I would do. I don't know if I would think of any other better options. I'm not sure. That's the first one that comes to mind, because you want to make sure that it's protected. You don't want to just like poke a hole somewhere, because then that could fray and be horrible. When are we making a Japanese tabi style shoe? It's a really good question. Not on our to-do list right now, simply because every time we have tried making them, hint there, we've tried, in fact, I literally tried a tabi style sock yesterday. And interestingly, the right foot felt good and the left foot felt horrible. The problem with tabi style stuff is the same problem with, toe shoes. If Five Fingers had fit my feet, I would have never started Xero Shoes, but they never fit my feet. I have Morton's toe. My first toe is shorter than my second. That's technically what it is. It's not that your second toe is too long, it's that your first toe is too short. Anyway, the length of someone's toes, the shape of someone's foot, the thickness volumetrically of someone's toes, those all impact the fit on something like a toe shoe or even a tabi style shoe. And I haven't found one that, when we've tested it, got a high enough percentage of people going, I love it, to make us want to do that. So it's not on our list at the moment. And if you're looking to make a tabi style shoe and start a shoe company doing that, now you just know that we're not going to be competing with you, at least not for the foreseeable future. Dan, do you guys do any pop-ups or promotional work at running events, thinking like the Pikes Peak Marathon? We haven't done a lot, because when people go to those events, pop-ups and running events, two different things. Let me talk about running events. Typically, when people go, they've already got a shoe. They're not going to switch to something right away. And they're usually not quite in buying mode. But the bigger thing is those events tend to be super expensive, because the people who are going to those are like the big shoe companies who don't really care what it costs, and they're not trying to make money. They're trying to keep, their brand in your mind. And we need to make money on almost everything we do, or we don't have enough money for inventory for the next year. So we've done a couple of running events, not successful. Pop-ups, different story. We have done some pop-ups, and those have worked out well for us. We're trying to build out a whole program to make that more doable, but we're not there yet. So again, we're not a massive company with giant bags of money sitting behind us to let us do everything we want to do as fast as we want to do them, especially as fast as I want to do them. So we're working on that project. It's getting there. When are the basketball shoes coming out? Ryan asked. I mentioned before, we don't know yet. We had a meeting about that today, and it's in flux based on how many pro players we're going to be working with, and when we can get something made, and who's going to be selling it other than us selling it directly, and a whole lot of other questions that we just don't know the answer to yet. Dylan, safety toe shoe boot. I mentioned that before. Go to xeroshoes.com/feedback. Say you're looking for that, and point to products that are or list the features that you need. We had a call about a year ago with maybe 100 people who wanted a protective toe safety boot or work boot, and the number of things that could be features in that product were long. And the number that people needed varied based on the person. Like, for example, does it need to be certified or not? Some people, yes, some people, no. Does it need to be under this price or is over this price okay? Very different things there too. So we're still trying to hack the code on how to make that product at all and give you the benefits you want from a natural movement product with the benefits and features you need for a work boot that is going to be effective for you. And so the more feedback we get, the better. It's the best thing I can say. Giuseppe, size 14 sells out fast. How can I get a jump on that? Depends on what product you are looking for. And typically when things sell out, we have a little thing that says, be alerted to when things come back in stock. If you don't see that, send an email to our customer happiness team, support@xeroshoes.com, and let them know which product and what size and see if they can help you. Because sometimes we actually have something comes back for a size exchange and is resellable because it's basically unworn, or we have one or two floating around the warehouse. But when we're getting something back in stock, we usually announce that. So if you're not getting our newsletters, go to xeroshoes.com/newsletter, make sure you are. And also reach out to our customer happiness team and see if they can help you find something or make you aware of when things get back. Let's see. What else do I have? Dan says, thank you for clarifying. I'm glad I did. I have no idea what we're talking about because once I say something, it's gone. I'm like the early versions of ChatGPT, no memory. Brad, when can we purchase the NBA shoe? Again, don't know yet. We had a meeting about that today. We'll know more about that in the upcoming weeks and months. Faye, I missed the basketball shoes question. Will they be available all too soon? Here we go. I just answered that twice. Okay, this is really good news, actually, that so many of you are asking this question, because that's going to help us make that decision about what we need to do to get these out into the world. We're still working on the design. We made it functionally really good, but we know we want to, our design game on that was, we just got to get something done. So there's a lot we're looking to do on the design side, and we haven't gotten there yet. Eric, got to say, I love that you are a very public CEO, talks to customers, makes me want to work for you. Are we hiring? Yeah. I'd apply if I lived in Denver. Well, there's that. If you scroll to the bottom of our website, you'll see something about job listings, etc. And FYI, I have changed my title. My title now, which I like even more, is Chief Barefoot Officer. So do with that what you will. Peter, I don't need them, but have you ever considered what? You ever considered? I'm not sure what you give me a more. I need to buy a vowel on your question. So give me some more vowels and a few more consonants as well. And pardon me 1 second. Have no power like that. Had to respond to somebody. Any plans for tennis shoe? Currently use the 360, no complaints. Yeah, people are playing in the 360. People are playing in the Forza Trainer. People are playing in the Prio. And I don't know what we would need to do to make something more specific for tennis. So in fact, we have a couple of very, very good amateur players who are playing in the 360 mostly. So if you want to go to xeroshoes.com/feedback, looking for a tennis shoe, and here's the features that you're looking for, that would be great. Oh, we also have people playing tennis in the Kelso. And by the way, everything I just said about tennis, replace the word tennis with pickleball, same answer. Let's see, Peter, I don't need them, but have you ever considered soccer cleats or anything of that nature? Considered, yep. Can't say anymore. Our chief product officer is a former professional soccer player, and our senior designer is a former college soccer player. So we've had a lot of conversations about this. And I know that Messi and Ronaldo have been shown wearing barefoot friendly products, sadly not ours. I think 5 figures mostly. Suddenly I got like a hiccup coming up. So it's something that we talk about a lot, but again, there's only so many things we can do. And right now we are so all in on what's happening with basketball that I don't think we have the brain power to pick up yet another sport immediately. We've even talked to, NFL guys who are training in our shoes, but just not playing in our shoes. And we want to, help them. Basically, look, this is the bottom line. Natural movement is beneficial for everybody, not almost everybody, depending on, there can be certain very specific situations where it's not, and not just like switching cold turkey. Let me try that again. letting your feet do what they're made to do is really, really good to the extent that you can do it. And when it comes to pro sports, there's very specific use cases and very specific features we need for that sport. And sometimes for particular players in that sport. So linebacker different than defensive end. I'm making that up. I know nothing about football, but no, I do know that, and better and different for a running back. So we hope that we get to the point where we have enough resources to make something to accommodate all of them, because we're already hearing from them saying these things are helping me, but I don't have anything to play in. What can you do? And we want to find a way to do something. Why wouldn't we? Because again, we're trying to change the world. Javier is giving me some applause. Thank you. All right. Holy smokes. This has been a blast having you all here. By the way, if you haven't been on an Ask Me Anything with me before, I do these on the third Tuesday of every month, unless I'm on a boat or somewhere where the time zone difference is really out of whack. So like in June, this will be interesting. I'm going to be on a ship crossing the ocean when we have the call in June. So that's going to be entertaining. Fingers crossed we can pull it off. Anyway, again, I'm here I'm here to be helpful. And it's also super fun for me for a lot of reasons. So, and also just as a reminder, super, super, super grateful for all of you and everything you've done to spread the word about what we're doing and the natural movement thing in general, because, the more the merrier, frankly. So anyway, it's been a blast. Oh, Hector, any chance for a Prio All Day SR for women to be back in stock? Reach out to our customer happiness team, drop an email to support@xeroshoes.com and ask them, because I can't store that info about when things are being restocked in my brain. It's too many things for my tiny little brain. Peter, when are we going to be on a boat? From the 14th of June through the 23rd of June. My wife gets bad jet lag, and we have to go to Europe to work with our European office and employees there. And she got the idea last year to take the Queen Mary 2, so that she's adjusting like 1 hour a day, and maybe that'll work out fine. And I was not planning on going because I don't get jet lag, but I do get seasick. And people said, oh no, this boat is made to be as stable as possible. And, put on a Dramamine patch, you'll be fine. And it's such a rare opportunity. I figured, why not? So fingers crossed. But I'm really looking forward to it. So June 14th, right after my 62nd birthday, we jump on the Queen Mary. Or maybe it's the 15th that we get on the boat. I don't remember. Either way, 14th or 15th. Sorry, the ship, not the boat. Kathleen, love my Xero shoes. Can't even wear my house slippers anymore. Once I have Xero shoes on my feet, I don't want to put on anything else. Just pair Sunrise to see if they work as slippers for puttering around the house. They should. And also the Pagosa. When you want something a little warmer, you will like that for a house slipper. Edgar says, thank you again, Stephen. Love Xero shoes. Thank you. Kathleen replying to Hector, the Prio SA are awesome shoes. I wore them to dance ballroom and they're fabulous. Once I get used to not having a heel, I hope you can get some soon. So again, reach out to support@xeroshoes.com. They'll let you know when those are coming back. Okay, I'm going to wrap this up because I'm going to show you. That guy, there we go. There's that guy. He needs to go for a WALK before things get, I don't know what I'm not done to spell anything after that. He needs to do a WALK. He needs to perambulate or go and have an evening constitutional. And then I need something resembling dinner. So let me wrap this up. Can I order the DIY kit with the Jennison Aqua Cloud laces? That's a great question that I don't know the answer to. So, but I think we should you have to ask the customer happiness team. I don't know the answer to that one. And Monica is giving some hearts and various things. So Jared, send an email to support@xeroshoes.com and ask them. Okay. So once again, thank you. This is an absolute pleasure for me to do this. I have a blast every time. And again, Lena and I and the entire Xero Shoes team could not be more grateful and happy for all the support, for those of you who've been with us for a while that you've been giving us, for those of you who are new to us that you're expressing just about the whole natural movement idea. Clive says, what am I wearing for the walk? It's either Speed Force, because this is what I slip in most often, or the Z Trail, because now it's super warm out and I love that too. Or I walk around my neighborhood barefoot, which people think is crazy, but it's awesome. So again, when Lane and I started this, and I've told the story at the end of every one of these, out of the corner on the floor of a spare bedroom, 14 and a half years ago, we had no idea what we were getting into. We had no idea we would have helped coming in on 2 million people discover the fun and benefits of natural movement and helped build an entire category. We just, I mean, it blows us away when we walk around the office sometimes or our warehouse in Denver. And by the way, if you're in Denver, we have a store attached to our warehouse. Go to xeroshoes.com, look at the store locator, you'll find it. It's overwhelming. And I'm literally just starting to think, wow, we've done a really good thing. People keep telling us that what we've done in business in general, let alone the footwear business, is unprecedented. And I've been saying that to people, but I haven't really taken it in. And so I'm starting to do that. And I can't tell you how grateful I am. It's been, it's not easy. Running a business, for those of you who run your own business, not easy. Running a rapidly growing business, not easy. Making stuff, not easy. Making shoes, really not easy. So we've worked harder than we've ever imagined, but it's from hearing stories from people like you, like the ones you've heard from people who are saying this changed your life. You're living in Xero Shoes. You don't want to wear anything else. That's what gets us out of bed in the morning. And again, cannot thank you enough. Spread the word. A reminder, something I always forget to say, if you don't know about my podcast, because everyone has a podcast, I'm so sick of everyone having a podcast, hear more about that on my podcast. As you can find out more about that at www.jointhemovementmovement.com. There's nothing you need to do to join. That's just the domain for the podcast. If you look it up, The Movement Movement, find it wherever you find podcasts. Super, super fun to be doing that as well. And more importantly, I just look forward to what's next. If you're not new to Xero Shoes, again, thank you for your support and spreading the word and talking to strangers who stop you on the street to say, hey, aren't those Xero Shoes? Or hey, what are those? Or hey, where do I get those? Or weren't those on Shark Tank? And if you are new to Xero Shoes, I really hope that you take the opportunity to grab a pair, slip your feet in and feel what you've been missing: natural comfort, performance, and health. And Stanislav, hello, back to you in Lithuania. Wonderful to hear from you. Kathleen says, thank you for all you do. Thanks. Safe travels, many blessings. Everybody, go out, have fun, and live life feet first.